I didn't care. I just went in and beat the living heck out of this guy. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, I am extremely excited. War season has been incredibly fun this season. I do think a lot of that is due to my war planners in Lizer and Taters. They're doing a phenomenal job, and I'm getting to use a variety of champions. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I have moved to basically a one video a week on war, where I just do a compilation of what happened, anything that I think was interesting, we can learn from, or just really fun. But I have said, if something very cool happens in a single war or one single war, I think there's a lot to learn from, I will make a standalone video. And that is definitely this one. Diablo just takes over the war map, and he ends up showing everything in his arsenal, including his healing. We have 6 fights. Let's jump right into it. You can see the team. I got to take MODOK, who I'm honestly not that familiar with, and you're going to see that kind of come into play. And then Guardian, who's there for the awesome synergies and all the things he brings. I do think he could have taken a couple fights, but they were not assigned to me, and we are doing so well, I am not going to mess with that. All right, here we go. You can see with the compensation packages that have been coming out, I had, I think, 6 indestructible is either I have not claimed or in my stash. So I just went ahead and used it. Like I said, I'm not that familiar with Mole Man. I am not running the suicides at the moment, and that's mainly because of the next fight. Although I do think this one may have had a heal block on it too, but the next one definitely does. I'm just getting used to his animations. The day I pulled him, I was so excited about it. I think I took him to rank 3 the next day or two, and he's just sat on defense ever since. But I am really hopeful I get to use him more. And well, we'll talk about it in this next fight. You can see the tremendous damage that he did. He's shrugging the debuffs that are coming on. That's not an overly difficult node if you bring in a really nice counter. And MODOK did his job. I really enjoy that champion. I'm looking forward to playing him a bit more. So now we're going in this fight against Terax. And here's the first thing. Here's the first thing I hope to point out about Diablo. He does have these 3 pre-fights. You saw I was assigned to use this Grain of Uru, which is while active. And that's important to remember, while active. Philosopher's Mix grants immunity to stun effects and armor breaks. That does not mean that Diablo is now stun immune and immune to armor break effects. It means when that Uru is active, which is happening after specials. It is longer after the special too, that aura. Let's just call it an aura. I think it's easier. You can see we're going up against a steady build at Fury, long distance relationship, and here's the heal block. So I'm also not going to be running suicides. I get that question a lot. I've done 2 videos already on Diablo. One is extremely in depth, and I recommend you check that out if you're interested in him. One of the conclusions I came to is I don't think running suicides is as important as having Mystic Dispersion with him. I think he can work either way. He's best with suicides and Mystic Dispersion. So I do not have the suicide tree on. That's why I don't have the poison here. So the damage is going to be a little bit less, and you're not seeing that continuous heal. You're noticing, this is what I wanted to point out, the armor break is still on me, and that's because I have not thrown a special. I'm eventually going to throw the SP2 here, and you'll see what happens with that armor break. It's very quick, but you'll notice it's going to get nullified, I believe is a word. Here we go. Purified. Thank you. So it's purified. And before I can even explain all the things that Diablo was doing in that fight, Terax is dead. That is without suicides. I am boosted. I boosted large for war, but that is without suicides. Now we're going to get to see, this is going to be a rage fight against Stealthy, which means I can't, anytime I do over 2.5 worth of damage, that damage won't be done. He's also going to gain the 5 Furies. Once he gets to 5 Furies, he will go unblockable, which would be really, really bad. And you're going to see me mess up a lot in this fight, and you're going to get to see how much healing Diablo can do and how well this Essence of Null is going to work. Now remember, this will only be triggered after I throw a special, but you're going to see he's going to nullify 1 buff every 2 seconds. It doesn't seem like a lot, but watch how often it does work out in this fight and how often we are nullifying rage stacks. I got great fight plans from Taters here, and it just goes sideways. This happens sometimes, right? This is, of course, the fight I did not use an indestructible boost for. There we go. I should have gone in and punished that. That was my first mistake. I landed that parry, but he comes out of the second hit of it. Everything's fine. So at this point, I should just go back to parrying heavy. You want to do the parry because that's where you get the guaranteed poisons there. It looks like I missed the parry. I don't want to blame that on the bug. I think I just flat out missed it, to be honest. We've thrown the SP1 there. I threw that so I could get this heal. Look at this big heal. Even with recoil, look at this big heal. How much healing is coming off? It also had sort of a dual purpose in this fight of getting the nullification aura up. You saw a Fury get nullified. And so I need to be mindful of that. If I can, I'd like to get to my SP2 because that'll create a longer nullification aura coming up. But I need to also be aware that I am now in the corner and Stealthy is not really wanting to throw his SP1. So I do need to tack into him and try to make that AI feel a little bit threatened. And at this point, even with all my mistakes, Stealthy is at 42% health and I am at 90. This fight should be well in hand, and I am going to find a way to make it close, and Diablo is going to save me. At this point, I really feel I should have just hit into block. I should have backed Stealthy up and just blocked his SP2 if I needed to, but I'm not comfortable with the evade. I've now forced myself into another mistake, but Diablo is continuously healing. He is continuously healing. Remember, this video is about Diablo and how great he is, not about me and my skills. I just tried to stay calm. I did my best to throw specials when I could. I am running Mystic Dispersion, so I'm getting a little bit of power from the nullifies themselves. You see the nullifies working. The Fury, look at there, we just got 2 off right there because you can get 2 auras up. You see I have 2, right? There's now 3. So that means we're nullifying. Each one works on its own cycle. Even with all of those mistakes, Diablo wins that fight and I am at 50% health. I think most other champions die in that fight. I cannot think of another champion you could take in, play that way, have that many mistakes, take that big of a beating, and still actually come out on that fight alive. Maybe Doom, because he's so tanky with this crit resistance, but Diablo just does it, right? And you're going to see some other fights coming up why Diablo can get that done. All right, here we go. Now we're going in this fight against Cosmic Ghost Rider. I'm trying to remember which essence. So again, the stun immune and the armor immune. Now remember, that's only going to come up when I've thrown a special. We have this aggression prowess, power focus. The only interesting thing for me about this node, or the thing I wanted to go into the fight really being aware of, was I really don't know how to dex a Cosmic Ghost Rider's SP2. I don't think many people do. The SP1, I've got that down. With the extra power he's going to be getting due to the node, I want to be aware of that. I don't like parry heavy playstyle. As much as you've seen me do Archangel and things like that, I really don't enjoy it. It's not a fun play style for me, and I feel like I often get backed up into it. So I decided to go ahead and just play this fight normally. I feel like Diablo does plenty of damage as it is, no big deal. So you're going to see here, we're going to go in. I can't recall if I got, I decided to go ahead and just throw my SP2 regardless to get the aura up. That's helpful in case some mistake is made. I don't want all those armor breaks doing anything really bad to me. Like I said, in case I do make a mistake. You're seeing the parry here. The heavy is going to land the poison, and just the tremendous amount of damage that Diablo can do. I'm being as mindful as I can of Cosmic Ghost Rider's power and trying not to push him to his SP2. There we go. And at this point, this fight is definitely over. The SP2 is unblockable. That's going to come into play further on. Actually, it's going to be the exactly next fight, which is just amazing from Diablo. All right, here we go. So I love this fight. I love this fight. Taters is Taters. This guy knows what he's doing with these war plans. I have the nullification aura up, and check out this node. So this is on Mini Boss Island. We've got a tremendous amount of health. We have the recovery here. And as you know, that can be a real issue with Man-Thing. Safeguard prevents the champion from losing more than 1% health from a single source. Well, the poison is going to help not necessarily get around that, but it's not going to be 1% of the poison damage. And then we have this Indomitable where the healing will just be turned off instead of reverse. Meaning, so like that old trick like we used to do with Void on Buffet and things like that isn't going to work out. And then he does have that chance to go unblockable. I did know that I had another pretty tough fight coming up. Again, I have a lot of these boosts in my stash. Why not use them? I've never done this fight before. I've never taken Diablo 2 war before. I had an idea of how I thought this would work out. But this war, I think we were at like 5-1 deaths or something like that. And they were done, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to go in, do my best to land my parries. I knew sometimes Man-Thing has a tendency to really hold on to his specials, at least it feels that way. So I wanted to make sure I didn't get backed up. I wanted to have the freedom two decks if I needed to, thinking that this opponent probably was going to have a very high version of Mystic Dispersion. So I wanted to be aware of that. There was, for me, the concern of pushing him to his SP3. And at this point, I'm very comfortable with this. I'm very comfortable with this fight. I'm comfortable with our spacing, and I've decided I'm going to go to my SP3 and get all of those buffs that come off of your SP3, all of those buffs placed on Man-Thing. Watch what happens. I'm going to throw my SP3 here. I think he's going to get either 10 or 20 buffs that do nothing except give us the chance to nullify them. That's why I had the nullify aura up. Watch what happens here and watch how quickly this fight closes. Remember how much health Man-Thing has. So there was 10, they're already being nullified. It's giving me power because I have Mystic Dispersion. The 10 poisons, you see what they are ticking for. That is not nothing. That's a considerable amount. And then remember, the SP2s are unblockable. You cannot be pushed to a second SP3, so you're just gonna get these SP2s over and over because they're nullifying things too. I don't have power back boosts on, and he's dead. He is dead. That was a beautiful planning. You know, I am very honest with myself when I play poorly. I also think I played very well there. Diablo, the guy is awesome. You saw the full kit in action there. You saw stun immunity and armor break immunity. You saw how well he works with Mystic Dispersion. You saw how well he can be, or well he can do without suicides on. You saw the tremendous healing and tankiness against Stealthy. I hope I get to bring him to war more, and I am excited to show that to you. Now, Moldude, again, just continuing to open my eyes on how good he is. We have this Hazard, Shift, Incinerate, and Poison, and then this is Stun, Immune. MODOK is traditionally a very tough fight for me unless I can stun him because of his auto block and how that works. Obviously, Moldude is not immune to Incinerate or Poison, but he has the ability to Shrug. I was very concerned about losing my True Strike. I've been told by a lot of very smart players that he's bugged. I have to say, not as sure anymore. I know some of you, if you've seen my rankings video, told me, you're like, dude, I don't think he is. And I had a great conversation, I believe it was with Morton, where he was like, I'm not so sure he is. And this fight caused me to go back and read Mole's description again. I'm now really thinking he might not be, and he's working as intended. You're gonna see what I'm talking about, because you're gonna see me go into frenzy here a little bit because of the debuffs that are landing on me, and I'm not going to lose my True Strike. I'm boosting huge. This war, I think it was, again, 1 to 5 deaths. They were done. We still had a lot to go. We had a lot. Some of our other BGs had not been moving as quickly as our BG. I'm in BG3. Wanted to get this down. So here we go. The plan was for me just to use the Unstoppable. I'm going to let him hit into my block, and I'm just going to punish. I am much more comfortable evading his SP1 over his SP2, and I'm just going to do that. But I had been told, or at least I thought I had been told, that I was going to be shrugging all the debuffs. And that concerned me because I realized I wasn't, but I looked up because I knew that I was now in frenzy. I was in frenzy, and that's why I was not shrugging the debuffs. But I didn't lose my True Strike because my monster mass never got to, I believe it's 10, where it should happen. Once I saw that this has happened, I looked, I saw I had, significantly more health and I was beating MODOK. I didn't care. I just went in and beat the living heck out of this guy, dodged the SP1s, throw my SP2s for that extra damage increase, and just really beat on MODOK. I read through Mole's description again. I think this is how he's supposed to work. Again, because my monster mass was never insanely high. And then, of course, in true Taters fashion, the way this BG just often operates, I'm not even out of the fight yet, and he's congratulating me. I was just really pumped up. I've never brought Diablo to war. I've never brought Moldude to war. I got some relatively difficult fights with them, followed Tater's plans as well as I possibly could, and you see the results. I'm having a blast in war. Like, I actually can't wait to get out the week 2 synopsis, because there's Cosmic Ghost Rider, there's Apocalypse. It's some really fun stuff. The way this game should be, and I'm getting to use the variety and depth of my roster. Let's go ahead and look into this. As I said, it was a very tight war. America Chavez even got a kill. It's amazing for me. Like, this was my favorite war in a very long time. And then I just want you to see, this is BG3. Lizer up there with the highest percentage. A player like Bryn, Legacy, the mythic level champion there. Panda Man Pete, TJ, Taters himself, Enzo, Mad Cat, Rando, everyone has a role to play. Everyone pitches in, congratulating each other and just celebrating. And we had 0 deaths. We had our first bagel, our first donut of the season. It felt great. It was cool to be able to participate in that and be a part of it. And we won the war too. It was like the triple crown. It was everything. I got cool new fights I've never taken before. They went exceptionally well. My BG had a donut and we won the war 5-3. Very well played, Brotherhood. Obviously, to only die 5 times. I think we have a pretty tough defense. To only die 5 times against us is very, very impressive. We just happened to play very, very well today, or this war. So congratulations to them. Well played. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know. I know that there's a lot of you have commented you do enjoy the new format of the kind of more of the synopsis style. Let me know how you felt about this. I think this one was worth getting out in a single standalone video, especially because there was so much to talk about with just one champion. I hope I get to bring Diablo more. I hope I get to bring Mold Dude more. And honestly, though, I'm just loving that we're using the variety and diversity of my roster and that it's going well. I just want to be a part of it, have fun, have a blast. That's what this game is about. And right now that is definitely happening. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.